I started to slow down. The pain of life became heavier, and I began giving up on myself, giving up on waiting for God, giving up on being strong in everything I was doing. Yet I kept my prayer, but nothing around me seemed to change. In my spirit, I was strong, but in real life, I was broken. I cried to God to take me home, but that didn't happen. I cried a pain that nobody else could see. To people, I looked okay, but inside, I was carrying heavy pain, deep abandonment, and weight of my mother's curse in my heart. In me, there was a voice crying every time, "Why, Mom?" Every moment. "Why, Mom? For what reason? What had I done wrong? What was I supposed to do that I didn't do? What made me so unaccepted to my own mother?" It wasn't my choice to be born. There was nothing I could do to change my gender, the boy my mother wanted. None of this was my fault, but the right to be called a daughter, the right to education, the right to be loved, and my freedom, all of this was taken away. But what else could I do to change what had already happened to me? This question made me grieve daily. They distracted me, followed me for a long time, and they troubled my heart for years. I reached the level where I felt completely lonely and tired. I couldn't continue preaching. Preaching stopped. Prayer stopped. I couldn't continue to pray. I couldn't continue to preach. I waited to die, but I could not die. The pain and anger that I once turned towards myself slowly shifted towards my mother. I hated what she caused me. I blamed her for everything. I wanted to be accepted by my mother. I worked hard to earn her love, but she rejected me instead. When I needed her most, I did all I could to be accepted, but it seemed like there was no way. I really wanted my mother love so much. I needed love which I had never received. When my anger overtook me, my body became frozen. I would become frozen and muted again and again, silenced, numbed, unable to speak or to think. Still, I kept surviving. I kept moving, but I was carrying a pain I did not want to remember. I built my history and forget everything about who I was. My faith disappeared. I mourned and grieved. My heart desired to die again. I felt traumatized in a heavy way. When I was broken, this was the time my survival mode grew stronger. I was completely divided. I felt myself split into two parts. Then I felt comfortable with Jeanette's life in the dream, the one who was recognized, loved, needed, respected by so many. And this was the time I rejected the Jeanette I knew. I didn't care much about Jeanette in real life because all she could do for me was reminding me of injustice done to her. I was two people living inside one body, but against each other. My brain created a strong system to help me survive. The things I could not live on this earth, I lived it in my dreams. The life I didn't get to experience in reality, I experienced fully in my dream. In my dream, I lived a true life. Please, if you finish reading or listening my story, I advise you to read my next book, Jeanette Life Beyond the Veil. I will explain who I was in that dream world. In those dreams, I was somebody. The world needed me. My spirit shined brighter than anything I can write or explain. I reached a point where I stopped moving around and stopped encouraging other people. Slowly, I disappeared inside myself. In my dream, I lived, but in the real world, I was suffering. So I chose to stay in the dream world. And I stayed there because that was the place I could feel rest and peace. I remember the time I slept. I did not want to wake up. I didn't like noises or crowded place. I only wanted a very quiet space so I could stay in that dream state. As I was in this survival safety mode, a lot happened in my dream world.